Hi there, totally amazing again. Sorry. I need to do some outtakes as well at some point. Sorry. No, I'm sorry about the interruption there, so we'll have to do part 2 here because I ran out of memory storage, so I've resolved that one anyway. And we've not done anything further. We've reinstalled our main motherboard, cleaned everything out, resolved a couple of potential shorting outs, and we've just cleaned everything off where possible. And we've put back in all our connections. Well, almost all. I shouldn't be poking around in there because I've disconnected myself from my grounding strap, and as you can see, the anti-static mat is also grounded here. So what I'm going to quickly do is, I'm well within my time of 1 hour, so this is an hour rebuild. I'm just going to quickly pause and have a beer and a quick smoke and talk to you about some of this stuff. Now you'll notice anyway, I'm not putting my my beer anywhere near machinery because that's just a really terrible idea. Similarly, if I'm smoking, I don't blow it near equipment anyway. It'd be kind of interesting though if I was to sell this. Comes from a smoke and pet-free home. Pet-free, yes. Smoking, no. Anyway, basically, it is you have to be mindful when you're dealing with these things. Ensure that you are grounded out, because the thing is, static build-up in you can discharge to components inside, and it can really cause some damage. I personally have never had it happen to me, but I know people that it has happened to, and I've seen the aftermath results of it. So it's always worth being mindful of it, nonetheless. Again, when it comes to reseating motherboards, don't force them, because like anything like that, there's always the potential to cause further damage. Again, I shouldn't really be putting my hands in here where I'm not grounded, but I'm not touching critical components. I'm only handling a plastic fan. But with these, it's unlikely, if there was no power at all, it's probably unlikely to be the fan assembly and CPU, because if they're incorrectly seated, normally you'll just get some horrendous beeping noise. Similarly, same with RAM as well. Now at this stage, I'm not going to rule out a power supply fault. Now, if you're wondering here where the power supply is, well, it's here, because it's driven off a laptop-style charger. Okay, so there's no actual Molex connections or anything like that, or ATX connections to the motherboard itself, unlike other boards where the kind of mainstream firm actually does have these ATX connections. Similar to like Molex, but ATX blocks are usually like 24 or 48 pin or whatever they are, however many pins they usually have. Just kind of dust everywhere as well, and also smoke. I don't normally smoke indoors anyway, I'm just kind of am at the minute. But yeah, just back on this though, this machine, it doesn't have an internal power supply, so it's probably either going to be a fault. I'm assuming now that I've resolved whatever could be shorting out inside, or dust or anything like that, foreign objects that were in. There's metallic shavings in there, that could potentially be a hazard. The RAM, again, if that wasn't reseated properly, you'd probably expect it to boot up. You'd still get power in there, lights would still come on, but you wouldn't really get any display. This thing just says it's not powering up, period. No lights, nothing. At least that's what I managed to find out. So we'll see what happens. If what I've done here hasn't resolved it, well, then there's a few things that we can look at. Either the motherboard entirely is dead, and given the condition of it in there, that is possible. A power surge could possibly kill it, but the power surge would be coming from the adapter, so we might have to do a check on that one as well if that doesn't power up. So we'll have to do a sort of voltage check on there and see if there's any power going through to it. Or I suppose it could be a broken switch. Now I have loads of these anyway, a whole damn drawer full. So if I have to, I can just simply dump that one out and put a new one in. And, that wouldn't be a problem at all. And these sort of press button switches, they can be found pretty much anywhere. TVs have them, sort of other things as well, microwave ovens and whatnot. It's the same sort of standard deal. If it's not that, it has to be one of those. I mean, yes, of course, you didn't have a fuse in the supply lead, but again, we've already spoke about that. So if it was none of what I've mentioned here, then it would be down to your main incoming power supply, but where this would have been tested, that wouldn't be the fault. The fault is either going to be with that, or probably on the board, or that switch. I'm probably going to have a hazard a guess that I've either corrected the fault by stripping this out and rebuilding it well in under 30 minutes, or if I haven't, then the fault is more than likely either, as I said, with the board or the switch. Kind of power adapter itself. Just sort of get that out of there. We'll need that in just a moment. So let's just do empty bag. There's nothing there. Nothing in there, people. Nothing for you to see. I mean, if you really want the bag, have the damn bag. Have it. Keep it. I don't. Well, actually, yeah, I do need these things. In fact, they can go up into the resealable bag area for now. If I have fixed it, all I'll do is I'll just rebag it and shove it on the inside until it's time that it's sold. I'll probably end up changing the case on that. I will need to put that fan back on there as well. So, nearly at the end of the smoke. In fact, let's just dump that out now. Let's kind of crack on. So let's get ourselves reattached. Let's move on. Let's hopefully get this thing done now. It's not really, I mean, I've got fairly chunky hands as well, so getting in there, it's not easy. And there is actually a little trick that I can use, using some sort of thin-nosed plier grips, but just be careful when you're doing this. Just grab hold of the wires gently. And just kind of see if we can get in there. Just push that in. Get sure that we don't sever any of the cables. What we need to do is remove 2 retaining screws that hold in our optical drive. Shove that back in there, lining the screw holes up, fix that. I mean, some people would say, well, you should connect it first or whatever, but I can get to the back of that easily enough. gloves are a pain in the backside. Sort of screw in there properly. Don't help when you're shaking from a coffee hit earlier on as well. Oh God. There's one in. Just tighten that up. Don't need those. Let's get them. Just screw that in. One. Let's pull these up. Stupid gloves. Just that's it. I am going to have to go off and get some replacement proper ones, actually, I think. These surgical ones. This is the same sort of stuff that EMT medical technicians use and doctors and whatever. Not actually for this. But anyway, let's get in there and get these connectors seated. And again, with these, there's only one way round they go. It's going to be sort of that way. That's in. And, what's this one say to? Top one is going to be for that. Out of the way. Sort of shove that up in there. Same deal with this as well. There's only one way round. There you go. Straight in there. Now it's just the hard drive, which let's give that a quick brush off. Now, there is possibly one other problem, is that one of these components could be downed and is shorting out. That would be rather annoying if that's the case, because that potentially, I suppose, could cause a problem. Again, that's not something I've encountered before, but I suppose it could. Seated in there. Doesn't seem to be flush, but whatever. As long as the screw holes are lined. Gloves are really starting to annoy me now. I've probably got around 25 minutes to do this. Maybe the odd cigarette break might not have been a good idea. I'm not going to bother doing all these screws up for now. Bloody hard drive's come out in it. It's gone in. I'm going to do them all up, just in case there's a problem. I should imagine there wouldn't be. Okay. Let's just get the SATA connection in there, and there we are. It's all reconnected. And what we'll do is we'll power it up like this. So I'm now going to break away from there, so I'm not going to be shoving my hands in there at all. So now it's just a case of taking our power connection, untangle that, because obviously that could act as a sort of heating element and start burning up. We don't want that. It's essentially what a heating element is, and that's why you should never have these things coiled up, because well, that's what lights and heating elements are about. So let's get the adapter up there. Now we just need one of these power leads. It's the usual 2-pin, 2-prong affair. Fetch that out. Same thing with that. Let's just get the elastic band off that. 99p for that. Same place, cash converters. Pretty good if you want sort of items at cheap price, whether they work or not, doesn't really matter. If you want it cheaper. That's where you go. So I can just plug this in. Oh, there's the light going off. Right, okay. That's hopefully. Hey, and it's on. At least it was. Alright, it's turned itself off again. There we are. It's on and it's running. Right, well, we've got it powered up, but now we have a beep code. So, and something's not happy there. And it is running. There we are. Seems to be doing something. You can hear that, possibly. There we are, that's powered up. It's running. And the fans are all spinning. So quite what that was about, I have no idea. It was possibly having some sort of hissy fit. But I think now what we need to do is get a screen attached to this and go from there. But it certainly does seem to be doing something, which is what it wasn't earlier on. So what I'll do is I'll go and affix the rest of these screws to hold the hard disk drive in place, and we will then attach this to a screen and see what we get. I'll just try and turn this around to the back, see what sort of connections we have. It's just going to be the usual kind of monitor lead affair, so I'll need to go and find one of those. So that will probably be in part 3, I would have thought. We'll certainly just leave this running for now. In fact, actually, while it's on, I found to reattach my breakaway cable. I'll do this. And what we'll do is, while it's running, so I'm silly enough like that, let's just sort of zoom out a bit. I'm going to try and attach the rest of these 2 screws to that hard drive while it's running. No cheating. It is running, as you can see. You can probably see the sort of fan spinning around down there. Let's make sure there's nothing flapping in the way, but yeah, that's... Oh. Yeah, that's spinning. Let's go ahead and get these screws back in. So, just pull our sort of gloves up. No, nothing burning, so we haven't set anything on fire. Well, it shouldn't be anyway. Not enough heat, well, not enough power going through that to do that, unless of course it was something really serious. Let's just try and get these sort of screws back in. That's one. We just need to get 2 more in. But this is well within the allocated 1 hour, and at this moment, given the previous video was around 30 minutes, so I actually still technically have some 10 minutes or something, I assume. But we did say to get it powered up in that time, and we have. are. Here we go. We'll do. So we'll try and get the front panel on. Oh dear, I hate when that happens. Drop a screw in there. You silly old screw. I think I've got a screw loose half the time and all. There we go. Right, while we're still kind of running, let's break away temporarily. Let's just make sure there's nothing going to get caught up in that. There we are. Blue light on. If we turn this off, there we are. We're powered up. We'll just get our panel on just before we do. Yes, that's now working. Let's go ahead. Install our front panel. There we are. It's up quite nicely. And what we really need to do now is brush this off, I suppose. And we might as well just go ahead and put the cover panel back on anyway. Everything is actually reseated properly. It's all running, so if I do need to do any further maintenance on it, I can do. But for something that wasn't powering up, well, a complete re-strip down. Get light back on. Spin the back end of that around. Considering it wasn't powering on, I think we've resolved that fault. There we are, knocking the charger over, hurrying along. There we go. Just get the thing put away where it's not going to flap about. Just get this back on properly. Is that not seated? There we are. Let's just do that up. Make sure our breakaway lead is on. I don't want it to get stuck in that fan. We go. That looks like completes that. Now, I'm not really happy with how grubby that is. It's not very presentable. Just listening to make sure it's still running. So we'll clear that. Now, just to see if the USB is working, what I want to do is just check that. So I'm going to plug my phone into the USB port and see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't blow my phone up, but we can never tell. This will at least confirm that I've done things the right way. Let's just see if the phone will charge. And there it does. Just as you see, let's power it off. The USB connection's in. Our phone is off. And just to show you, is all there. No cheating. See? Works there. Let's just hold the whole lead as one. Let's just try the other side. Let's just... And there we are. Right. And just to prove it again, that I'm not pressing anything, let's just sort of set the phone there, unplug it. Let's just wait for that to go off again. In fact, let's just turn it off. I think that's working. Yellow flashing light, that's obviously for the hard drive. So something there is recognising it. So when you plug it in, the hard drive will become active. It tells you that the operating system's looking for something. it is. See that yellow flashing light deal. And there we are. I think that is a success. That's a complete rebuild, and I think that's worked. That's a complete rebuild there. So I'm now going to permanently break away. Gloves off, and remove grounding strap. If I can actually take the damn thing off, just take it off that way. And we can disconnect that, disconnect the final earth, well, grounding rather, whatever, earth, ground, still the same deal. Put that there. And that completes the build. The operation was a success. Again, this is fantastic. That's another successful operation. The patient seems to be running. At least it's powered up. We now need to do, oh yeah, did we check if the, oh yeah. That didn't sound very good. It made some sort of humming noise. I don't have a disc around here, I don't think. Otherwise I'd check that. But anyway, as I did say, I was going to pull that out. Yeah, I'm going to pull that out and change it. But I'll sit there and do that all day now. And I suppose if don't do this, people, be a hold of it. Don't do that. Let's see if it powers off properly when I press the power button, because normally these machines should do. Press the power button, see if it turns itself off. Just wait. And it has. Yellow light. Let's push it again. That beeping hopefully is gone. That might have just been the CMOS error. And it has. So that was clearly when I removed the CMOS battery. That was on the motherboard, that CR2032, that looks like a watch battery. The system will initially throw an error. Not anymore. So the verdict was, on that, when I have another kind of one of these to celebrate, I'm pretty sure there was something shorted out on that board. Now the RAM actually as well wasn't seated properly. But there was a shorting out on there near that Ethernet port. Yeah, and that dust build up and metal particles in there. That was probably what was doing it. And there we are, but I think that pretty much powers up. Now, I bought that for £20. Again, from Cash Converters. I spoke about these cool people before, and there's a little shout out to Will, to like a couple of the others there as well, like sort of local store, Nat as well, and a few of the others. Big shout out to you, and please next time when I'm in, give me something a little bit harder to fix. You know, recommend something harder for me to fix anyway. Obviously, I'm a customer, I know you can't get involved in it, but recommend me to purchase something that's more of a challenge. This stuff seems to be pretty easy. In another video over the course of the weekend, I really have got a problem, because I bought a TV for £9 as well, and that doesn't power on at all, and on that one that's coming up, that's got a real issue with it, because that's got liquid damage. It looks like something like coffee all down it. But yeah, I think what I need to do is fix myself in a minute. Get fixed up, changed, and The other thing I've also got, also bought for 20 quid, is that. Let's see, Samsung Galaxy Tab 3. That doesn't power on at all, and apparently the sort of USB charging port blown or done on it. I did try to charge it up earlier and nothing. So I don't know what's going on there. So that's another up and coming little venture. And I know I mentioned about that, was it that Xperia phone? I've got that to turn on, and I've got half of that working, as we saw in the previous videos. That's going to obviously have to have a complete strip down and rebuild as well. So that's just generally how that is. So over the course of this weekend, so much for pub time. I'm going to be busy with this lot, I think. I am happy with that. I am happy. No soldering yet, but there will be. So people, don't worry about that. You know, you're going to see some cool stuff happening there. And obviously, I've got a few other little projects I want to do scratch builds from as well. So you'll get to see that. Now this thing's only running 8 gig of RAM. As I said, I've got more memory that will fit that. So I'll probably go ahead and install that memory in there as well. And all I can do anyway is apologise for the sudden cut off on the previous movie, vlog or whatever. That's because I ran out of space. What we'll now need to go and do as well is go find a monitor cable and that sort of Technica 32-inch TV screen I got. We can use that to test this now, can't we? I'll probably have a few more of these yet. So I'll see if we can get that done and all. And, quite interesting. So anyway, people, this is yours truly, totally amazing. The home of scientific knowledge, discovery and research. I can't talk now. It's another outtake. The home of scientific knowledge, discovery and research since the 1st of January 2K19. This is yours truly. That's spot on that. So over and out. Ka-chow. Catch you soon. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment below. Bye.